call into order the regular, excuse me, it started, I'll just call it up. The regular town council meeting, Tuesday, October the 1st, 2024. We always start with a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could I have a roll call, please?
Connie Brady here. Carl Kincaid.
Present.
Jackie Merle. Here. Brian Hill.
Here.
Scott Weber.
Here.
Yeah, I didn't think I did that. I really didn't. Approval of minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the September meeting?
I make a motion to approve the September 3rd meeting minutes.
Second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are going to record. I have been asked to swear in our new police officer, to move him up because he needs to get out of here. He's got a 6 a.m. roll call. He's got a 6 a.m. call tomorrow, so if it's okay with everybody, I'll go ahead and do this. Raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
I solemnly swear I will support the Constitution
and will obey the laws of the United States
and obey the laws of the United States
and the state of Tennessee.
and the state of Tennessee.
That I will, in all respects,
And I will, in all respects,
observe the provisions of the charter and ordinances of the town of White Bluff. Let's go back. Observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the charter and ordinances
of the charter and ordinances
of the town of White Bluff,
of the town of White Bluff,
Dixon County, Tennessee,
Dixon County, Tennessee.
and that I will not demean
And I will not demean
myself in my officialty capacity
myself in my official capacity
as member of the police department.
as a member of the police department.
I pledge myself to serve faithfully,
I pledge myself to serve
honestly, and with due regard
honestly and with due regards
to the welfare of the town of White Bluff, Tennessee.
to the welfare of the town of White Bluff,
That's
Tennessee,
it. To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Welcome to our police force. Tyler Moses.
Get him to sign that.
Okay. Go ahead and sign it out. Okay. I'll watch you get this part. That's to watch me. Okay. Thank you, Tyler. Okay, moving on down, public comment. Mr. Paul Buck.
This is beginning to become a habit. Thank you for letting me speak. Good evening. I just wanted to say on these two next agendas, reiterate that myself and our neighbors on Westcott are not against the annexation. Thank you. It's just that we want to keep it as R1, and I understand that it is supposed to go in as an R1, but I just want to reiterate that we do not want duplexes or apartment building or anything like that built on those properties. And from my understanding, I have talked to the owner of the property, and their plan is to build 3 houses, and we're okay with that as long as it stays that way. If it doesn't stay that way, then you're going to have a problem. So I just wanted to reiterate that, like I said, it's not a problem for us as long as it stays at 3 houses. and not anymore, so, for that property. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We don't have any public hearings tonight. We've already sworn in our police officer. I will tell you about the Main Street Festival this Saturday. Well, I don't know, it's October the 12th, that's not this Saturday.
It's a week from
It's a week from Saturday, okay. We have, Misty, what, 90 vendors? Did somebody tell me 90 vendors?
Well, I couldn't say for sure it's 90 vendors, because some vendors get 2 spots, so.
Oh, okay.
I just
okay.
know that all of our spots are taken, and we've actually added a couple that have 0 upstairs, so we can fit people in. But I think we have 93 or 94 spots.
Okay, 94 spots, okay. Lots of food, lots of music, starts around 11, although people usually get there and start setting up before, and people start coming, but that's officially what we say.
Vendor setup is 11 to
Yeah.
1, and I believe that the official start is 1 to 6
Yeah.
for the actual.
Like I said, everybody doesn't go to the,
they
so a
don't,
lot of
no.
things start coming, and that's fine, you know. But anyway, usually we don't really know, our police department estimates maybe 1,000 coming in and out all day long. So it's a big festival for us, and everybody always looks forward to it. In communication from the mayor, we have a special guest here tonight. Eric, do you want to come up? Oh, wait, let me quit. Eric's not a special guest.
I've seen him before.
Mr. Bernard Potts. Is he okay? Yeah. Okay. Bernie has been with the town in one position as a volunteer, fire chief, planning council. He has found this town. So he's been with us 42 years. Around 42 years is what Melody has been on here, right? She's about right, huh? He has worked with Eric in many of those positions. He and Eric worked together.
You're my boss for a lot of years, 81, 82. And then, he retired, I can't remember, right before they did it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's been my boss for a long time.
Yeah. Well, he's been my friend for, way more than 42 years.
Well, he's my kid's adopted grandpa. So.
Yeah, yeah. So we just wanted to let you know how much we appreciate your service, your dedication, everything you've done to this town. You've been here almost when we had just 2 lanes in White Bluff, and we had my grocery, and I mean, we had, how many fire engines? Did you start 2? And they were given by Mr. Bill, am I right, Mr. Bill?
He's done that with you.
Yes, that's started, so you played a big, big part in every phase of this town. And so the town of White Bluff recognizes Bernie Potts. Thank you for your years of dedication and service to the town of White Bluff. We are truly thankful from the bottom of our hearts. You can put that on here, but we are truly thankful. The years we've got here, 1982 to 2024, 42 years of service. Hey, and we can call you back from time to time. I've already cleared it with the family. Whatever we need you for, we can use it.
Things has kind of slowed down for me since I had a stroke.
Yeah,
I'm not able to get around real well.
yeah.
It affected my speech. I went through therapy for 2 months, and that's a little better.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed serving the town, the capacity that I had at that particular time.
What are you going to miss the most? What are you going to miss the most?
I miss the fire department the most.
Well, I know.
I truly love the fire department. I truly love the fire truck. I always told my wife, I said, when I retire, I want to get me a fire truck and put it out in my front yard but that was ruled out.
Oh, in case y'all don't know his wife, Miss Rosie, she is the, okay, that's all I have to say.
Thank you,
Okay.
thank you, boss. Thank you, sir.
Stay off the moonshine, Barney.
You're so welcome, well deserved. We'll end up by saying we have many people that me just personally, I consider them the part of the foundation and the pillars of the white book that we have now, and he's one of them. Okay. So that's all I've got from communication from the mayor. Reviewing the budget and finance, the August 2024 financial statement.
Nothing's changed on it since Thursday night.
Okay.
I will say that, after, there also is a package that I laid in there after the financial statement called Report on Debt Obligations. That is the mayor and I closed out on the $360,000 note for the police class. And once it closed out, we have to give this to the council within 45 days after the closing. So that's what it is. You don't have to vote on it, approve it, or anything like that. I just doing what I'm supposed to do by giving it to you.
Okay. All right, do we have any questions or any discussions this Thursday?
This sheet here, she has maturity dates, amounts, and interest rates. Why does the amount continue to go up?
That's, anytime you do a capital outlay note, it goes up each time. The principal does.
Okay.
Is it because you're paying more on interest at first? Is that it? Yeah, I'll just say, yeah. Yeah, all our capital outlay notes, even our bond is that way too. The bond that we have still City Hall and Fire Hall.
Any more questions or discussion on the financial statement? Since Thursday. Not, we'll move on down to codes and permits. Consider resolution calling for public hearings on local plant services and annexation by owner consent for real property identified as Dixon County Tax Map 082, parcel 036.04, located at 3027 Westcott Road, White Bluff, Tennessee, in its entirety. This is just calling for a public hearing on the plan. Observed is we will have the public hearing tonight.
Mayor, if I may, I know I wasn't here Thursday at the beginning of the meeting, but just to kind of give the parameters, the state law has changed several aspects. So 3 and 4 on the agenda are tied together, and 5 and 6 are tied together. I think you'll cover that. If you choose to pass the resolution regarding annexation, we would necessarily take up the ordinance for R1. You know, y'all changed the law a couple of years ago. Everything that comes in is R1. If this council does not wish to proceed with an annexation, you wouldn't need to take up the ordinance on zoning because you're not annexing. And as Mayor said, this is calling for the public hearings on the plan of services and the annexation itself. So by my count, you will have 6, if you pass all of these, you'll have 6 public hearings next month, 3 per property. What also happens, just so you're aware, there's a litany of notices that go out now. We have to send letters to adjoining property owners within 200 feet of any boundary line, the county mayor, the school system, the county commissioners. And then we have to post signage on each of the properties regarding the annexation, and literally post, I'll be on that sign as well, the second resolution so people can physically get it. We also have to maintain copies of the resolution here at Town Hall. So if y'all choose to move forward, there's a lot that goes into it. So the reason I'm telling you that is, if you're comfortable with it, go ahead and move forward with it. But there's a lot of work that goes in between now and the second resolution. So just kind of an FYI on that. But both ordinances are zoning both properties R1, so there's no question about items 4 and 6. That's just by your law. Mayor, I think we have a question.
I had a question for you, Mr. Mills.
Yes, sir.
I just can't remember what it was. Oh, how come it's not automatic? Since we made it, anything that gets annexed automatically goes, I thought automatically went to R1. How come it's not automatic?
Because by law, to affect zoning, you have to pass an ordinance. So it's really a pro forma ordinance, but we still have to have the physical document zoning, not rezoning, but zoning that piece of property R1. It's really just procedural. I don't think this body would even, you would have to have a second ordinance afterwards to change it, right? So this is the ordinance that originally zones the property. We did look at making it automatic, but state law requires an ordinance to affect zoning, so that's why you have the ordinance after.
And you said there's going to be 3 hearings on each. What's the third?
You'll have the public hearing on plan of services, the public hearing on the annexation itself, and technically the public hearing on R1 zoning.
The plan of services.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, is that the one? Yeah, yeah. So plan of services, annexation, and the zoning will be the 3 per property.
Well, how come we're not doing plan of services tonight?
Because this resolution calls for the public hearings on everything. So they'll all be on the same night. That's the way the statutes, brief 10-second history, municipalities used to annex without owner consent by ordinance, and so to fully differentiate it, the legislature changed the law and said you can't do ordinance anymore. You also have to have owner consent for the most part, and you're going to do it in 2 resolutions, which really is the same as an ordinance, but it has 2 readings, but it's 2 separate resolutions now.
One more question for Mr. Buck.
Yes.
Where is your property located?
I'm on the corner of West Commons in 47.
Okay. So your property doesn't actually touch it, A1?
No, it does not.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion to consider the resolution calling for public hearings on number 3 and number 4? I think we've done together.
Okay, I'll move to accept this annexation.
So is that a move to approve this resolution?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And just one other thing I need to point out, Mayor, and we are happy to do it retroactively, but we have to have the date of the public hearing. So I know later in this meeting we're going to talk about when the next meeting is going to be.
Right.
But just as long as y'all know, whatever date you pick for that is the date that's going in this resolution, and the other one as well. But I just want y'all to be aware that you're giving us the authority to stick in that date based upon however your vote is later tonight.
I have a motion by Councilman Kincaid, a second by Councilman Hill. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 3 and 4 passes for the resolution calling for public hearing.
That's just 3, Mayor. We got to take up 4 separately, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Is that an ordinance? I know.
There's a lot
There's a
to
lot to annexation.
it. A lot harder now, a lot more complicated.
I'll
Go
move,
ahead.
I'll move to zone this parcel to R1.
Okay. And we're talking about item number 4. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed, nobody, so that passes. We go down to 5 and 6, which I guess is pretty much the same way, just different geographical locations.
Yes, ma'am.
Consider resolution calling for public hearings on local plan of services and annexation by owner consent for real property identified as Dickinson County Tax Map 096 Parcel 01606. And this is located at the terminus of Buckhorn Road, White Bluff, Tennessee, in its entirety. Do I hear, go ahead, do you need to talk on that?
This is the one in the Belfort subdivision, the donut hole that somehow long ago didn't get annexed, very rare.
Yeah.
So it's a parcel that's technically in the county, but we surround it.
All right.
I have a question related to that. I mean, the city physically surrounds all 4 sides of this. So this guy's got a little island in the county.
Planning is supposed to prevent that from happening, but these they're called donut holes. They happen from time to time, and this came up, and the owner requested to be, I'm already surrounded, will you take me into the town?
So, the Bell Forge, when was that not town away?
I think it's from a long time ago this got left out.
Oh, okay.
This was not like last year, this was decades ago. Before Mr. Potts' time, probably.
Yeah.
That is comical. Okay.
What happens in an old small town. Okay. All right, do I have a motion to consider for resolution calling for public hearings on local land services and annexation owner consent for real property? Do I have a motion?
I make the motion to call for a public hearing on the plan of services and the annexation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more questions or discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. We'll move on down to number 6. Consider first reading ordinance zoning Dickinson County, map 096, parcel 16.06, Buckhorn Road, White Bluff, Tennessee. Will come in is annexed as R1, but we have to have an ordinance for it. So do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Any more questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's passed. There will be also 3 public hearings on this particular item, these 2 things. Like Andrew said, we'll have 6 public hearings. Consider first reading ordinance to rezone the R1 portion of Dickinson County Tax Map 096, parcel 100.24 is the Jazz Center property from R1 to C2 Highway Commercial. Anybody, anything new on that since our discussion of this Thursday? Do I hear a motion to rezone?
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. That's first reading. Building permit report.
Mayor, for the month of September, there were 4 residential building permits issued.
Okay. Anybody have any questions or of Jeff about that?
Chris?
4 building permits. Okay. police department report.
Well, I have a question on the permit.
I'm sorry?
Yes, yes.
Oh, on the permit?
This is Jordan Circle.
Hold on, chief, we're backing up.
Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
This, I was talking to Mr. Hill here. So this is a property that's farther down Jordan Circle.
Yeah, it's what I would call in the back of the development.
Okay. What do you have to do there?
What are you gonna do now? Now that we've opened it up, what are you gonna do?
Oh, we're gonna have 1,500 square foot, single family home.
Okay.
So we're not bigger than what's over in that area, but we're gonna give it a shot and see what happens.
Okay.
Says you pay for 1660. Is that right?
That may be right, maybe we're
All
right.
right.
Yeah, we're crazy, right.
That's a bigger house than I thought.
Crazy than I want it to be. Yeah, that's probably my business partner's doing, but, I mean, it is what it is. I think it'll sell. I mean, it's in White Bluff. So if we sell one next to the sewer plant, we sell one anyway.
Y'all do talk to each other.
Not much you think. I see you more, I didn't know.
I like that little house down there.
It is. It's a nice
It's neat, it's a neat little, yeah. Okay, we ready?
I think a parking garage would do well over there.
A parking garage, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, so now we're going back to police department report.
Yes, ma'am. September, we had 439 calls for service, 170 traffic stops. We issued 113 citations, 89 warnings, 11 arrests. No DUIs, no drugs.
Just so we know that our officers are being fair, daughter's boyfriend is one of the citations issued. Ran a stop sign, this little fancy thing, and I believe our new officer got him. I said, well, that's what you get. Don't be running the stop sign.
It's good when you don't know anybody.
Yep.
It makes it easy.
It makes it easy, yeah, that's true. Well, he needs it. I mean, he's a good kid, but man, in that fast car, I remember those days.
I once got a warning letter from the state in the Mustang, so.
I got one in the crowd.
Many years ago, so I understand.
So that's about an extra 50 calls. Is that just a reflection of the added staff?
I believe so, because we had been down Macy, of course, so we'd had her slot open and then the new slot that y'all gave us. So, it looks to me like it was increase in traffic stops, would be my guess. Our new officer is being very diligent about traffic stops and writing citations, if they are needed.
Well, I told the mayor this, I'll go ahead and share it with you, because I think I got to speak with one of the sheriffs that knew him prior, and he highly recommended him and said we got a good one, so I was just happy to hear that.
There will be some citizens happy too. I have talked to some citizens in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and that's the main thing they talk to me about. They want to talk to me about speedsters. But I've told them we're doing all we do, we've got a police on, and they're happy to do that, and so they'll be happy.
Well, hopefully now
That's
that we're
good that I
up,
can tell them when they question me again.
well, hopefully now that we're up to full staff, we'll be able to run 2 in the afternoons, overnights. Those are our intentions. So the officers are better pleased with that for safety measures, of
Yeah.
course.
And we discussed, of course, they were all really interested and very informed, and we discussed, they understand the peak hours, you know, in the morning from certain hours, in the afternoon, certain peak hours, about 2 to 3 peak hours, like that this morning. And they were all very understanding of that, and at the time of our lack of staff, shortage of staff. So Anyway.
I too have complained and told the officers to come over and sit in my driveway for the speeders going to and from work, so.
Well, I don't know if they found a place in mind, but, you know, I am right there on Highway 70, so I can pretty much, everything everybody tells me, I'm on Highway 70. I know what you're talking about, think of but we're fine. But anyway, I just wanted to pass that on.
Yes, ma'am.
Good thing. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Our new officer, Mobley, where will he,
I'm sorry.
our new officer, Mobley?
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 Mobley.
Where will he be positioned?
You mean as far as in shift? Well, he will train on days to start with, and then he will probably go to the midnight shift, which we rotate shifts every 6 months, from days to evenings, or days to midnights. They work 12-hour shifts. It gives them every other weekend off. So they seem to like that.
Did he come from another department?
I took him from Centerville Police Department. He had, actually, Centerville hired him, put him through the academy. He promised them 3 years. His 3 years was up, and he started looking to leave, and I was able to find him. So Centerville had nothing but good things to say about him. I worked with his dad 30 years ago, so I suspect he'll be good.
His dad had statement.
Yes, well, you know. His dad recommends him, but, you know.
So he's going to training?
He'll be in training, which basically, he's already a trained, seasoned officer. You know, I say that, you know, he's got 3 years. But he'll need to learn our roads and learn our procedures before we put him by himself.
So by training, he'll just be doing right along?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And also, today in the news, I heard that fentanyl is going down as far as availability and arrests so far, and the potency is going down.
Have not heard that. Of course, I don't know. I find that availability would still be high because I know the Mexican cartels are still, I mean, I see occasionally where they will end up getting a big bust, but it may just be that we're not finding it, kind of like, so we don't really know if it's available or not.
Well, supposedly to this, according to the story, that cartels are the ones that are lowering the potency.
You won't return customers, that would be smart, because they get it left and right, I mean, you know.
I agree.
All right. But I did hear a clip of that story, I didn't get to catch the story, but I did, you know, and I hope that's accurate, I hope that that is true.
I do as well. I would like to see it completely gone, but, you know, that's for safety reasons.
Didn't we swear in an officer a couple of months ago?
Yes, you swore in Austin. Austin lives over on Williams Drive here in White Bluff.
And so he's through training and everything?
Yes, sir. He is by himself.
And what shift is he on at this time?
I'm sorry.
What shift is he on at this time?
He is currently on midnights. Currently, Brent Allen is on day shift, John Doran's on day shift, and everyone else is on midnights.
All right. I'm glad to see you got the two more.
Yes, sir. I know I've got a young lady wanting to come back come March or so. I told her I'd have to see about openings, so. But,
She wants back on the road, doesn't she?
yes, sir.
I don't blame her. Not a bit, so maybe we can make that happen, hopefully.
She's not a deaf
I'm not either, can't do it.
We've been trying
But
to
she's
work
done well. I mean,
She has.
she's very,
good on the phone.
but
answering the
that's not
phone.
what she's trained for, she'll tell you that. So,
You put a
yeah.
baby seat in the,
Sir, a
put a
baby.
baby seat in the cruise there?
Get her a Tahoe, put her in the back, him in the back, never know.
Third row.
Yep, third row. It's all good.
Okay, are we through with
Yeah, thank you.
Next, we have fire department report.
You have your reports in front of you, any questions?
I met your predecessor the other day. I didn't know he goes to Church of Christ. He was making the rounds. Can't remember his name.
No, he didn't attend the church, he goes to Little River.
Chapel Hill.
Wayne Hooper?
I'm sorry?
Wayne Hooper?
Could have been. Two of his buddies were making the rounds from the neighborhood. Had to be one.
Who is Wayne Hooper? Greg Harmon?
I think it's great.
That was when I started, and then Mr. Bill before that.
Okay, any, questions? Any explanations? Anything you want to make known? Eric?
No.
You just put it in? Okay.
I'm good, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your service and all your volunteers. Moving on down to court reports.
Mayor, total court cases for the month of September is 88, comprised of 8 criminal cases and 80 traffic cases.
I will say this, I'm going to expand just a little bit more on this. When the people talked to me about speeders, and we were talking about additional police officers and building the force up, and they said, well, if you would, and this is what some people, people don't understand. They don't understand how the budget works and a lot of our processes and fees, and I said, so if you have more people on, and I can understand how they think this, if you have more people on the police force, they could give more speeding tickets, that would enable you to pay their salaries and add more people on. So I explained to them that when we get those speeding tickets, we don't keep much of the money. It goes right through us, right on into all the other places it's supposed to go. But, and you know what, then they look at me and they say, I didn't know that. But, and I understand. So,
State gets a lot of money.
yeah. Anyway, any questions on court? Moving on now to streets and sidewalks. Consider bids for repair work on Town Road and Trace Creek. We talked about this Thursday. Has there been anything new that anybody wants to talk about?
I make a motion to accept the lower bid of $60,440 from Tennessee Valley.
Okay. Motion to accept the lower bid by Councilman Reed. Do I have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Jeff, you have any idea date-wise? I know we're trying to do it in the fall before the cold weather.
The project spec stated that we wanted to have it done this paving season,
Okay.
which is now stretching into December.
Yeah.
So anytime between, it's a small job and they'll work it in, so it'll be between now and mid-December.
Okay. Bad place on Town Road and Trace Creek. Okay.
I have something to say about streets and sidewalks.
Okay.
Currently, CSX is chewing up the crossovers on Main Street and the Commerce Street. I don't know if they're going to be Whiteway Road, but they're replacing the railroad ties. Currently, Main Street's closed.
Right.
We made a post today
Yeah.
on social media to let everybody know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Okay, consider first reading amendments to White Brook Municipal Code, Title 15, Motor Vehicles, Traffic and Parking, Chapter 6, Parking in Chapter 7, Enforcement regarding on-street parking.
Mayor, there was one clerical change from Thursday, but it's substantially in the form you saw. Again, it's cleanup of the parking section of town code, all of the areas you can't park, how you're supposed to park, and then the ability to designate areas, after consultation with the police chief, but the mayor or his or her designee is hereby authorized to erect signs indicating no parking upon any street, that's determined that the parking would inhibit the normal flow of traffic and pose a danger to the public, either on one or both sides of the street. So I think that can now be handled on an as-need-be basis. When congestion comes up, again, like we talked about Thursday, if an ambulance or a fire truck says we couldn't get through here, there's parking on the streets, there can be a determination made, we need to put a sign or something on the street itself to indicate no parking, and that would give police enforcement powers from there. I'm happy to entertain any questions, but this is a cleanup of both parking and the related enforcement provisions, 15703 and 15704. And I guess the biggest thing on 704 was it upped our impound fee from $35 to $50 a day, just making, since that's our constitutional cap, just $50 per day across the board for anything, and that it's easier to track. And this is first reading, so there will be second reading and public hearing on this.
Did you happen to run this by Amanda at all?
No, it's not really a planning thing. I mean, I'm happy to in between first and second reading.
Just curious. She's very insightful.
We'll be happy to see if she has additional thoughts before second reading.
I move to make this amendment to the White Bluff Municipal Code Title 15.
Have a motion by Councilman Kincaid. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Councilman Hill. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll have a second reading and a public hearing in October, in November. I can't believe it. Already November. Okay, down into Parks and Recreation. Do you have anything? Connie, do you have anything? Anybody? Jeff? Anybody? Johnny's not here.
He's out there somewhere.
Okay.
All in trouble.
Go ahead.
Are they, excuse me, hosting the trunk or treat out at Veterans
They are.
Park?
They are. So on Sunday, I think the date is October 20th.
Same day as the Valley thing.
Oh.
But his this afternoon, so this is your.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 20th.
The October trick or treat, thank you for that, I'll mention that tomorrow too, in the PowerPoint. Sunday, October 20th, this is always a big thing, and it's all volunteer candy, and the kids really enjoy it. Any old business? And it's at Veterans Park, just think of that, mention that. Any old business? Any new business? All right, new business discussion, grant for shooting range for the police department.
I'll borrow you again on that one, I got a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
So I know I got this packet early, and then we all have it now, and I've been reading through this thing a little bit, and so I just want to make sure that me and you are on the same page. It's looking like that if we meet the guidelines of the NRA grant, we can apply for it and possibly get it. Their side 25, our side 25. From what I've read, you know, like say if my company oversees it and we oversee the dirt work, the fencing, the concrete, all that, then that labor can be donated as a portion. I'm thinking the land we can do.
We've done this.
So we'll easily match the 25. And I did see, as you had spoken about parking, it does require parking at the actual range. And so the question I had, a couple questions I had for you before we dive off into this. The safety zone, let's see. What was that word we found?
Buffers.
Yeah, so, let's see here. I'm trying to get to that phrase. Okay. If the range is unbaffled.
That's it, baffled.
There we go. So, do you know, I have no idea what that means. Do you know what that means?
Well, that would be interior, the baffling would be for, suppression reasons.
Got you.
So, but it would not be, we would not have anything outside other than the actual dirt itself.
Because I was looking, so, and that's one of the key, like, we'll have to figure out, we need to make it baffled, because it says if the range is unbaffled, we have to have a 1,200-yard safety area beyond the range.
Is that just for indoor?
I think that was
You
just
think
for
that's indoor?
indoor.
Because that's for noise.
That was what I understood, but I could be wrong.
And I don't know either, that's the thing that,
Are you looking at the public input?
I am, I'm on the second page of the public entity partners.
First paragraph.
Yeah, first paragraph.
Guess we could look at, I've seen ranges that have a roof around the targets. You don't have to put a roof on the whole thing, per se. At least I've been going off of speculation. But obviously, a bullet could hit a target and go up, and I think that's the concern.
It might be, because that's gonna be the thing, like, I'm cool with, for us to fall in our monetary limits, fencing the actual range, but I don't wanna start fencing 1,200 yards beyond the range.
Is there even 1,200 yards in a radius around the range?
Maybe, which, one of the things that also recommend, and we talked about this, I think it's recommended shooting to the north, which I think is the way that would be laid out for the sun factor, and then, of course, just for the public's awareness, we probably wouldn't be shooting during the ball teams playing. It would be more during the workday rather than afternoons or on the weekends. So I don't think we're having issues with noise or anything. And then the other thing I noticed, and I was curious what you thought about this. So it says, and this is in the NRA packet, that if we include other departments, we would be viewed on more, what's the word, you remember? It was just a more
Favorable basis.
favorable, there we go. So I thought about that, and if that's gonna help us get the grant, I thought about maybe birds, because they're so small, it wouldn't really affect us as far as time. I don't know if that's something that we want to talk about, or if we want to try to go alone, or if they would even have any interest in us listing them as a possible. Because it basically just allows them to use it. It doesn't really go beyond that, but.
Well, I'm sure the county would be interested.
That might
The
work.
county has,
So, here's the one we're
Or
waiting
even if it was Charlotte or Kingston, the small ones in the back.
Kingston Springs, they're close enough that they'd probably be interested in it. Everybody, the county, the drug task force, even Dixon City, as far as having a backup, range. But, it's just depending on what size that we build and.
I wouldn't want to open it up to where it would inhibit y'all's use of it, because that's the whole point of it. But if we could make the paper look better, and then also bless those small local jurisdictions near us, that's always.
I do think, the fact that Dixon's is at the ball field, at the school, it's right there together, and, that would be our model. It's at our ball fields. I don't think there's any safety issues, or it wouldn't be there. I'm gonna try to get in there and take a look-see around. I may get in touch with you about that, where we can kind of see. But I'll need to know when we get these bids what we're looking at. We're hoping to get dirt work donated, but we'll see. I'm sure the concrete, I think that's probably what I pay for, so the grant will probably pay for it. Right. And I think, the way this is going, unless I misunderstand, if we can get this grant, and if we can donate the property, we probably won't even have to go through council, and then, because it even says in the grant, we can't use the grant for targets, things that'll wear out. But that could come easily out of your budget. All we'd be looking at really doing is mowing and weeding. There's really no cost to upkeep. There was a comment or two on our wonderful Hip White Glove about that, and I don't think the upkeep, in my opinion, is tangible as a concern.
No, and just, quick note on the upkeep. Also, I imagine if we opened it up to the county, to sheriff may let the inmates come over and mow it and weed eat
That
for
would be
us.
good, definitely.
So we're not even out that. I mean, they're, I could see that as a possibility.
Okay. What do you think as far as, because I know this doesn't start till after the first of the year, when would you have to start working on this, grant to have it ready in time, you think?
Well, the problem is I really don't know anything about the grant package.
Me either.
And there wasn't anything available because the package had been shut down. So, unless I can find, I'm sorry, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
What did you say about something had been shut down?
The
cycle?
The grant cycle for 2024 was closed, and all they said on there was, check back in 25. And I may be able to reach out to NRA
Gotcha.
and get a packet just to see what it is, what it entails.
Well, and if we get an idea of the size, that'll help, and then I can get some bids on what we think it's gonna cost, that way we kinda know up front. I feel like there's plenty of money there between the grant and maybe some donated labor, but, I wanna make sure I wanna get done and not be able to fence it, so I wanna make sure we're within our price tag. But that's all I know.
And Brian, you're looking at Veterans Park?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, down past, off the hill, I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it would have to be on further back, which I know now they're hauling some woods, some trees and things like that down there in the area. So we would need to get further back than that if we're gonna allow them to continue.
And that'll be something, I guess, we need to figure out is where it's gonna actually try to go, and then, see whether or not that's gonna be an issue with people dumping or not. I mean, it's, and
It would be nice to use that land.
Yeah.
We've had the land for years and years ago, and all we've been able to use so far is the front part.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of land back there.
Well, we've actually created quite a bit more out there by allowing the rock and stuff to be done.
So I was searching what baffling is on the exterior. It looks like it is a sound measure taken on the, I'm not sure if you can see that, but sections, not sure if you've seen those, I guess to change the sound, but I'm wondering if there's other range control factors such as strict range discipline, control, topography, or baffling may be used to reduce the required safety zones.
Gotcha.
And I'm just wondering but then later on in the language it says, but if it's not baffled, could we use topography and?
Right.
So I mean,
That back, I don't remember this paper.
people better with legalese.
The rear
If
barn.
we're gonna do this, we'll have to look into the legal ramifications.
Because I mean, that would incur another expense if we were gonna go the baffling route. Maybe not that much, it's just what it would, but.
From reading this here, I almost believe it the way it's worded that they're talking about for safety measures rather than for noise.
Yeah, and clearly that's for noise, that's not for safety.
Right. From the way I read this here.
My guess would be we have good range discipline and topography, we should be all right.
Yeah, because it's talking about comprising a 20-degree angle extending outward from each of the firing lines for a distance of 1,200 yards. You've got a lot of timber back there as well.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking the back wall has to be like 30 feet high, I think. Sides are like 10, so they're not so bad, but that back one's got to be pretty high. So I don't really see an issue of, I don't think you're gonna have a bullet that's gonna escape that, I would think. I mean, if you're shooting 6 foot off the ground and you got a 30-foot wall.
You always run the risk of, an accidental discharge.
True. We don't talk about those.
Yeah,
Don't worry about that one.
Don't worry about that one. But yeah, so I'll do some digging, and I'll get with you and make it clean to us so we can figure out what we're doing, and then go from there. Because that's what I'm gonna need to know is what do I need to bid, so I can figure out where we're at money-wise.
$25,000.
So you'll Well, that was good. That's exactly right. Hey.
Will we put, I know this is down the road, but will we put cameras up? Because all it's gonna take for somebody to go down there is a sign that says, don't go down there. And they're gonna wanna go down there.
Ideally, if we could ever get electricity right down there, I mean, most definitely we would want some type of camera system, because we'd have to have some way to power that. I mean, they have the, solar powered cameras, but it would be a matter of us, having to go down there and pull the SD cards out or whatever, to view them, since there's not any internet service or.
I was just concerned about vandalism.
Yes, ma'am. I completely understand that.
I wonder how far that is from that back concession stand. Is it, I haven't been down in there, is it a pretty good distance?
There's cameras available. I have one that's cell phone. You put a SIM card in,
Okay.
and you can do real-time monitoring. And it's also solar powered.
So, I mean, there's about.
And also, I showed Sharon how to use the backhoe, so she could help me with that.
Absolutely, that's a good thing, absolutely.
Is that like a trail cam type thing?
No,
No.
it's like a home surveillance. I have one to put up on my phone.
I would encourage that there's no liability to this, that we bob wire at the top of that fence. I think that's gonna be our best option.
I believe it said that the fence had to be 10 foot high as
It's
well.
pretty tall, so if we bob wire at the top of it, it's a problem.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's about safety and, what kind of litigation are we, putting ourselves into, because, we don't want a lawsuit. And I thought as well that we may be able to get another large generator from the military to run some lights down there if we're down there, having to decide to shoot at nighttime. I mean, the state's got where they like us to do a night fire, at least for qualification.
Right.
So just something to think about there.
Exactly how far away is the electricity?
Well, depending on how far back you went, I mean, from right down, I would say it's a couple hundred yards. Not really that far, I don't, from the flat spot, but that's where they're dumping the brush at. So it's just gonna depend on how far back we push, if we were to push this.
I mean, it's not that hard to trench. Run electricity and water down there.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have power there if we can.
I wouldn't say how you could not have power there.
Like I said, I mean, daytime shooting, it's fine, but, if you're gonna do any type of nighttime shooting, if we, enclose any of the cover area for an actual training room, of course, then we would have to look at water as well, for toiletry, so.
Chief, I can tell you real footage if you can tell me exactly where it's going to be. Because just from my eyeball, I'm looking at 207 feet, but I'm not exactly sure what you're running.
So I guess really what we need to focus on tonight is when can we start this grant, first of all?
Basically, my understanding is after the first year, and I'll try, my goal would be to get some numbers together before he is ready to submit, so we would kind of know.
Yeah.
So we'll work on that, I guess.
There's a lot of, it sounds like there's a lot of details to work out.
There's a lot of details.
But I think starting the grant's the first.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also have a question about the range officer. How does that work?
Well, you have to have a range officer, which would be myself, or also Austin Wilson is a range officer with the National Guard. So he's a range officer. So the two of us, I am actually the General Department instructor.
Would that be like anybody wants to use it, we have to reserve it? That way we can arrange to have a range officer on it?
If another department was going to, they would have to have a range officer with them, or one of us would have to be available except for safety reasons.
Right, I just saying that that throws something else into it, you know,
Yes,
some
sir.
responsibility. Somebody's gonna have to be the range officer.
And, you know, and I wouldn't want it to become just freely giving the keys out. And we've done that with buildings, and it's a nightmare. So, the more control that we have of it,
We
the
just
safer it is for us.
Yeah, any department that would participate, whether it's Burns or the county, would have to probably enter into, I was thinking, an interlocal agreement with us that would have parameters for use that this body would get to approve. So, but again, I think those are things we can look at as we get past the first of the year and the grant.
One thing we have not talked about, that probably might play a big part in this too, is liability insurance. I don't know,
I think as long as we
I don't
go
know.
by what Public Entity Partners, I'm sure that's who we have our insurance with. As long as we go by these guidelines, we'd be able, I don't know how much is it, how much.
Is it gonna be an increase in,
It probably will be, but I
Yeah,
don't think
not that
it's,
much.
you'd be surprised, that liability's really not that expensive.
Okay, okay. Anyway, that's
We
just
can
another
check
thing.
into bills
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
gets real.
Yeah. Okay, so, you start working, it's where y'all go.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you much.
Yes, sir.
A lot of questions. Okay, moving on down to morning business. Consider changing dates for the November Town Council work session currently scheduled for October 31st, which is Halloween night. And the regular meeting, which is scheduled for November 5th, which is election day. So I think we went over the dates. The
I
other
had
night.
suggested Tuesday the 29th and then Monday, November the 4th. That's like a week between meetings.
Tuesday, 29th for the work session.
Yeah, and that was my suggestion.
Okay. And, Monday,
That would be the
Okay.
4th.
Monday, fourth. Okay. All right, anybody else got any other suggestions or concerns?
Does that give enough time for the notification about the public hearing?
We're gonna have to get it in, so it's 21 days, that we at least have to get the mailings out and the publication. So today is the 1st, so that means we gotta get the notice to the paper tomorrow.
That's no problem.
Yeah, so, and I've got your draft here, so I think that'll be fine, and just get the letters out probably by the end of the week. So that should be fine. The only other option that I thought of, when I saw this, and again, selfishly, for my schedule, was to the work session on the 4th and maybe, the regular meeting on the 7th, but again, it's entirely up to y'all, and your availability matters way more than mine. I am available all 3 dates, the 29th, 4th, and the 7th, but that was just another way to give us just a little bit more cushion on these notices, but it's not required.
Does anybody have any opposition to that? Because I'm fine with it too.
Which one?
To move, to accommodate our council to do the 4th and the 7th, I don't have any objections. Does anybody have any?
So 4th for the work session, correct? And the 7th for the meeting, council meeting, correct?
I'm good with it.
It's up to this body.
Anybody have any issues?
Well, somebody tell me.
Both of them on the same week.
Sounds great.
you're saying?
Yeah, Monday and Thursday.
Okay. So we will change it then? Monday the 4th will be the work session, and the 7th will be the council, November council meeting. No, yeah.
Yeah. So, just for clarity, on those resolutions, we're gonna put November 7th, for those to go out.
Okay.
Would the, planning work session still be on the 7th?
Yes.
You get all day.
Tonight with the.
I'll bring you vodka, don't worry.
planning work session, we have it, Connie, you look at your calendar, work session will be planning, work session.
Yeah, because the regular meeting's on the 12th.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Anything else? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm going to pretend like you did.